Hey guys, you're about to listen to a live podcast from the House of Hardcore tour in Australia. This one was done in Melbourne. Wonderful audience, wonderful podcast. I want to tell you about a live podcast I'm doing in New York City. New York probably has my best podcast numbers, and it's been years since I've done a live one in the city proper. NowHearThisFest.com is the Now Hear This Podcast Festival. Some of the biggest podcasts in the world, including Planet Money, Comedy Bang Bang, How Did This Get Made, and more. And there's a wrestling section Sunday, September 10th. Conversations with the Big Guy, Sam Roberts Show, and The Art of Wrestling. You can get $10 off that day with the code COLT, or $20 off the whole weekend with the code COLTFest. I'm also going to be doing a live podcast this week in Glasgow on Sunday, right before the ICW show, 5:30. Come before the show. In terms of audio, you know there's always something wrong with the fucking live audio shows, isn't there? We checked everything now, didn't we? Except the third microphone. So whoever's on the third microphone might sound a little bit different, but Creaky Quinn of CreakyStudios.com, he came in and he equaled everything to the best he could. If you want some of your audio fixed, hit up Creaky. But if you want to listen to a real fun podcast done in Australia, enjoy this show.
This is The Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana. It's Colt Cabana.
All right. How you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, relax. You're about to listen to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast. It's a personal journal. It's an entryway into the minds, the souls, the hearts, and the lives of the people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host. My name is Colt Cabana. Hello. I'm Australian now, basically. I want to say the C word, but there's like a 4-year-old girl right here. All right, I'm a cunt. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. We got a birthday girl. I'm not a birthday boy. I'm a podcaster. I'm an entertainer. I'm a traveler. I'm in a house of hardcore. Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler. I am not sitting here live in my studio in Chicago, Illinois. Nope. I am live in Melbourne. What is this place called? Either I know what Melbourne's called. What is this place called? I'm at the White Horse in front of a live. What? I'm at the White Horse Club, probably the coolest club in town. In front of a live studio audience. Before we go any further, this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. We give it to you free of charge every single Thursday. ColtCabana.com, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcast from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend, tweet it out, Facebook it out, or you can support at ColtMerch.com. Did I say rate, review, and subscribe? It's really hard live. Okay, you'll do that stuff. Hey, best way that you can support, though, ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com, t-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital dollars, and after the show, ColtMerch.table.onerandomguy sitting back there .au/cunt, because I can say it. So we have a fun show. This is probably the most exuberant. Is that a word? Exuberant? I put together elaborate and exuberant, and I came up with an eluberance. And that is a Cabanaism. Thank you very much. This is a very eluberant setup. I feel like I should be on some kind of Broadway show, but like the really shitty one that comes to your high school. Yeah, no, it's listen, let's be honest with ourselves. Or I feel like maybe I should be on the Rove McManus talk show. I was going to do an American reference, but you wouldn't know any of these. I was going to do a Sally Jesse Raphael. Did you have that? Oh, man, that would have killed. And I'm such an idiot. We have a lot of fun guests. We have a lot of good people. Usually I'll come out here, I'll banter, I'll make some jokes. Something about, I was going to say something about Outback Jack. but my partner, Brendan Burns, who's from Perth, and when I say partner, that sounded weird because it sounded like I was sexually into him. And I'm not. But then I'm in a wrestling podcast, and then it kind of sounds like he's my tag team partner, but he's not. We just do comedy together, and we do it at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which when you're listening to this is probably happening right now. And he taught me about a guy, and I didn't know about him, but I think he sang Outback Jack's music, and his name was, I thought his name was Ralph Harris. Oh, listen to that reaction. That was wonderful. Should I not even talk about this guy? That's like doing an hour podcast about Chris Benoit, right? Is that the equivalent of it? All right. That was my one Australian reference. Who do you guys have now? Shane and Mikey? Is that your only claim to fame? Who?
Buddy Murphy.
Bloody Murphy? Which sounds like the greatest drink that I could possibly get. Yeah, I'll have one Bloody Murphy, please, bartender. Buddy Murphy. Yeah, Buddy Murphy. But in my mind, it's Shane and Mikey. I was talking about DMTK 6944. It goes down in the TMs. 61s. What is it again? TM61. What does that stand for? So they're just saying that they've got hoes in different area codes. You can't blame them for it. All right, let's start a show. Have a good time. So usually I have, when I do these, I like to have kind of a co-host with me. And usually it's my other partner, Marty DeRosa. But sadly, he cannot make it across the pond. So I was looking through the roster of hooligans back there, and I was like, who would make for the best stupid sidekick? And my best judgment went to my first guest. Please welcome him, or give him half an applause, because he is... Please welcome Hornswoggle. Oh, man, the stage is too high for him.
Right there.
Over there.
Where do the guests go?
I'm dominating. This is my side over here.
I'm usually the dom.
Let's get rid of these.
Okay.
And you hang out over there.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm warning you now. If I leave the stage for any moment, it's me having to...
What? Hold on.
Poop.
This is the international sign for poop.
Release. This is like releasing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Well, do you not want to be on the show? You can leave right now.
No, I really want to be.
Yeah.
But
What's causing this? You must, as a little person, you must have a real effed up inside going on, right?
It's awful.
Yeah?
It is awful.
What, like...
Liquor does a lot to that. Like, that doesn't help. Don't drink. Don't ever drink vodka. Looking right at you. Don't touch it. Oh, Jesus.
She turned 8 today, which in Australia is the legal drinking age. So if she wants to have a drink, she'll have a drink. Are you shit-faced right now?
No, I'm not at all. It's the problem. That's the problem.
Oh, can we get him one Bloody Murphy, please?
What is that?
Mixed, not stirred. It's a wrestler on NXT.
Is it?
I just made it up. It's his drink.
Whose?
Buddy Murphy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's that?
This is going great.
This is really good. How are you liking Australia so far?
How am I liking Australia?
How are you liking it?
I love Australia. And one of the things I want to talk to about everybody is their Australian times, their Australian memories. You must have traveled here a bunch.
Yeah, I want to say this is my 4th time to this country.
Nobody knows. Is it a continent? Is it a country, right?
It's like Rhode Island.
So confusing. Rhode Island. Is it an island? Is it a road? Is that what you were talking about?
Or is it a state? It's really, really small.
Right.
It's the me of states. Took it from him.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
But no, I love it here. This is my favorite international place in the world. Australia. No, I tell everyone that
We did a podcast in Africa last week, and he said the same thing. All right.
They didn't give me as much of a response. A lot of clicks.
Have you ever eaten a kangaroo?
I did yesterday. We had kangaroo. It was absolutely amazing. Tommy Dreamer's wife wanted to hurt me. She said I was a monster. She did not like that, and I realized, you're saying this, and do you realize who your husband is and what he's done? It was good. We had a good day yesterday.
It was a good day.
It was a fun day.
This whole tour has been fun, but you weren't with us.
I wasn't.
For half of it.
Yeah, I was in the UK.
And that's a half a joke I just made.
Stick to wrestling podcast, Cabana. I came straight from the UK here, and I'm glad. I wish I could have done the whole thing. Prior engagements, as they say, right? That's what they say. And it was. I always wanted to do Australia post WWE, and I'm glad that I could now with thanks to Dreamer and House of Hardcore.
Mm-hmm. What would be the difference between in WWE and post WWE?
We get to have fun. In all reality, I get to sell merchandise and actually talk to people and not go to the venue, go to the bus, go to the airport, and go to the hotel bar.
So you guys wouldn't see anything?
Kofi and I one time went, it was about a year ago actually, went to the Sydney Zoo. We had like a day where we flew in, we didn't sleep or anything. Instead, we actually saw and did things. And that's like the only time you could actually do stuff is if you didn't gym or sleep, and I didn't ever gym, obviously.
Very obviously.
I didn't do a lot of things. So I would go and see the town and that, and Kofi and we would just randomly take a day of the tour and walk.
So here's a real question, but it might sound like a piece of shit question for me.
It will.
Yeah. When you're at this,
whenever you start with that, with me especially, it's always, this might sound like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's always going to. It never once hasn't sounded like a piece of shit.
But when you're at the zoo, people are in that mode of like, oh, look, that thing. Oh, look, that thing.
Yes, that does happen.
It must happen, right?
It does happen. I mean, that's a place where there's especially a lot of children, where they go, oh, monkey, bear, midget. What? It's always the look of, what is that? He looks like Dad in the face, but he looks like me plus 100 pounds in the body.
Yeah.
And I've seen it all my life. So
and he looks like Mom in the ass.
But whenever I would be with Cole or with one of these guys, I always like their reactions to it of, oh, how is he going to handle this? And it's nothing to me anymore.
All right, here's a real good question I just thought of.
It's going to be a piece of shit question.
I don't know if you've researched this at all, but do animals have like little?
Yes, there's like dwarf, the mini horses.
Those are just ponies, though.
No, they aren't baby horses. They're midgets.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you own any?
No, but actually, I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Many tigers and bears and horses.
That'd be genius.
The Jew comes up with a good money idea. Imagine that. Hey.
I've got an idea that will make me some money. So do you remember who you wrestled in? Okay. Because it's always weird for you as a little person wrestler.
Midget wrestler.
I can't say it.
Yes, you
and
can.
It probably was like the greatest when Torito came around. Maybe not. You tell me if it was the greatest. Because I assume like who your opponents would be when you start wrestling, right?
So it would be random, like before Torito, it was never like matches. It would be me and Fit against Tyson Kidd and Natalia, or me and Fit against Hawkins and Ryder. Fit and I, sorry. English. Or Chavo, I worked with a lot of house shows or master random things. But once Torito was around, it was awesome. Like that's the most fun I ever had. For easily my whole WWE career, that was the most fun I had. Thank you. It was the best thing I ever did.
That's your claim to fame?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And somebody from the audience, which we don't encourage over here, yelled out "WLC," but that was a good call. Good job.
That's whenever people ask like, "What's the greatest thing you've done?" That by far, nothing tops that for me.
And then did you and Torito, did you guys do like house show matches?
Yeah, a lot. We would do them in the 3MB stuff. It would be me and two of them against him and the Matadors. Or once Drew and Jinder got released, it was Titus and Heath against the Matadors and him.
Well, I mean, I say this because like the Mexican Mini, and you correct me if I'm wrong, while you're eating your fingers.
I have a horrible problem. I'm told you. I know this.
The Mexican Minis have like this beautiful tradition in wrestling, and it seems like they're very respected. And maybe I'm wrong. This is from an outsider's perspective. And then it seems like after the 80s or 70s and 80s, when wrestling kind of stopped being a thing, like that in the American culture really.
There is no really a midget wrestling in America anymore, except, on the indies you'll have the random midget match on a show here or there.
So you couldn't be like in that scene with amongst those groups traveling around. So you really, that's why like in my head, it's like the idea that Torito, who's a guy who's been with all these minis and travels with them, like maybe like that was super exciting to kind of like, I don't know. Did you say you like learned under him or like?
For me, no, I watched him all the time. I mean, growing up, not really growing up.
Nailed it.
But no, it's I've watched him all the time and as Masquerita and that. So being able to work with him, he does that. He can do anything, literally anything he can do. Jesus.
Except
what?
Except climb the stairs and
get on roller coasters and reach the top shelf and get his own milk. But no,
that didn't get over with you guys. No,
nothing.
They're like.
There's a midget on stage. This is cool.
This is awkward.
We don't want to hear what he says. But no, like actually working with him. And then I think it was more so just actually getting to wrestle for the first time. Even especially at house shows was awesome. Like just getting out there and being able to wrestle. Because that's all I wanted to do. And I knew I could. And they didn't ever give me the opportunity to do that. So when they actually gave me that opportunity, it was awesome. And I could hit the ground running.
Barely.
Waddling.
Little legs. Yeah.
Don't move very fast. Just move out. Not
very hard. All right. Do you want to hang out with me? And
Yeah, I'll hang out. Yeah.
Besides you having a boop?
We'll push it away.
At any time, have a go. So you can move over and we'll welcome our next guest. Or do you... Was that mean?
I wanted to sit there. Now you're sitting. You told me to sit here. Now this.
It's like an Ed McMahon situation going on. It's like an Andy Richter situation.
Who is this? You're saying,
Andy Richter?
I forget how old you are, and that's why you're saying these references. Got him for the midget jokes.
Sorry to interrupt, but I got to ask you a question. Who you picking? Mayweather or McGregor? God, we all want McGregor to win, don't we? But we all kind of know that Mayweather's going to win. This is the biggest fight in 20 years for its kind. This is basically Inoki versus Ali. And if you want to cash in a little, mybookie.ag is offering up to 100% sign-up bonus on your first deposit. When these fights happen, people get super giddy and they want to throw some extra money around. At least I know that's how I am. I get super into these weird kind of fights. And maybe you do too. And you don't have to go to Vegas, or you don't have to find a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. MyBookie is online sports betting made easy, accepting bets anywhere, anytime. They even offer live in-game betting to bring the action anywhere you go. Bet McGregor and Mayweather. Bet any fight. Bet any game, college or pro. MyBookie.ag makes it easy to sign up and even easier to play. MyBookie has some of the fastest payouts in the biz with 48-hour processing. If this is your thing, use the promo code CABANA at mybookie.ag for a bonus up to 100% on your first deposit. Expert or rookie, check out MyBookie. That rhymed. I don't even know if they meant it to rhyme, but it did, and I loved it. Use the code CABANA at mybookie.ag and win some money on that fight today. All right, let's go back to the show. All right, let's bring on our next guest. Please welcome to the stage the man with the greatest beard in professional wrestling, Matt Cross, the M-Dog.
Awkward hello handshake, even though we saw each other 15 minutes ago. Hold on, I gotta pause you. This guy, the one thing you're gonna say about him is his beard. Not that he can do 87 backflips and 37 front flips?
Sorry, go back to there and I'll we can do it in audio magic. All right, Matt's going to the back. This is crazy. I guess I'll have to reintroduce him. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who can do 87 backflips and 33 front flips.
Guess we got to do that again.
The world over for my front flip.
Matt Cross is here.
Hey.
The funny thing is, with like the curtain setup, I like got nervous before I came out, just because you're thinking it's like an entrance for a show, and you're about to get beat up, and I'm gonna die potentially, and like, you know, it's a strange thing. I think anytime you go through a curtain, you're like, oh.
There has been no match of mine where I thought I was going to die. I can't die from an ass bite.
Yeah, but like if anybody picks you up for a body slam,
They can't pick me up.
Oh.
That's right, because I'm a fat ass, you know?
You're gonna be the one that dies, and they're gonna go back to this audio.
Yeah, this is weird.
Real weird.
We've made it weird. Well, hope you don't die, Hornswoggle. So, Matt, you're no stranger to Australia, and this is one of the big things that I wanted to talk about on this show, is you were a part of, I wasn't there, and maybe some of you guys were there, including this man. You were a part of one of probably the weirdest things ever to happen in professional wrestling, a tour where Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair bled on each other for every night. And I think the houses, like, they were giving away mad free tickets. That guy bought like probably like $1,000 ticket, like an idiot. Yeah, sorry. He got suckered in. So you were a part of this Hulk Hogan Does Australia, which is also the name of his alleged porno.
Wonder how he gets in trouble for that one.
Yeah, alleged. I said alleged.
So weird that when I got the first phone call about it, obviously I didn't even believe it.
Wait, was it from Hulk?
No.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, hey, brother. That would have been amazing. No. I got a phone call saying, hey, we have this tour. We'd like you to come to Australia. At that point, I'd never been. So I'm like, this is amazing. Of course I want to go. And they're like, so I'm like, yeah, let me know the dates. I'm in. And they're like, well, let's tell you something about it. We have Ric Flair. This is right after he is retired. So, no, you don't.
Nope.
And he's going to be wrestling Hulk Hogan. And I'm like, is there an Australian Hulk Hogan that I don't know? I know it's not the Hulk Hogan I grew up with. And they're going to be wrestling each other every night. So I'm like, oh, cool. So Santa Claus is going to face the Tooth Fairy. You know, we get so many promises in wrestling that I was like, yeah. Man, for a second there, I thought I was going to Australia, and I was excited. But it all panned out, and I ended up coming, and it was amazing. And I fell in love with the country, and I'm happy to be back. And, yeah, it was wild.
He said they all ended up coming about Hulk Hogan's other sex tape. Kind of ties
Said he's
together.
happy to be coming.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, it's so weird to see that being said out of your little body.
Go ahead.
Did you befriend Hulk Hogan or befriend Ric Flair?
It was weird because Hulk Hogan always took that extra second with everybody. I thought,
really?
He doesn't owe anybody anything.
See, I've seen a video that shows he doesn't take that long.
Damn it.
Anything, like, he would say hi, maybe. So even when he first came in, and I was like starstruck, and that doesn't happen. But I'm like, that's literally Hulk Hogan. That's weird. And he came over and introduced himself and was talking to me, and it was just, I'm like, why is he still talking to me? You know, because like, I still have that little kid part of me where it's like, it's Hulk Hogan. I had brought the 1988 SummerSlam program. It was in Cleveland at the Richfield Coliseum, which has since been torn down. I was there at like 6 or 7 years old, and I had my program, and I remember like wanting to like slap his hand when he came to the ring so badly. I didn't get the chance. And I was like, can I bring this thing? Because that's kind of, you know, unwritten rules in wrestling. Like, you're obviously not cool if you bring the program and have the guy sign it.
Dude, I did a podcast with Roddy Piper. I did a 2-part podcast, and I saw a fan in Cleveland actually gave me this giant, I don't know if you guys know, like, if you remember this, again, I'm showing my age. It's like an LJN figure that's like this big. It's like 2 feet tall, and it was still in the package. And I looked it up on eBay. It was like $300 or $400. And I was like, I should bring it to have him sign it. Like, we're going to do this podcast, you know, like, he'll be in my hotel room. Like, I know that he was such a nice guy, and I didn't have him sign it. And he passed away like 4 months later. And that's like, I don't know if that's a big regret, but I was so bummed about it.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird because, like, that stuff does happen. Chavo's father was at Lucha Underground and was like really cool. And he's like, you're great. And I was like, you're great. And I'm like a punk. So there's this band, the Mountain Goats, who did a song about him. And I was like, I need to get a picture with this guy. And I brought it up to him. He's like, we'll do it at the hotel later. And then we just didn't get the chance to. And then he passed away. And I was like, So last day of the Hulkamania tour, and the whole tour had gone great. And I had a lot of fun. I was like, you know what? Everybody's drinking and stuff. So the atmosphere is a little looser. I'm like, whatever. If I'm a dork, I'm a dork. Like, I'm going to go get this thing. And I'm so glad that I did because he signed it. And it was like, to Matt, thanks, brother, Hulk Hogan. And I'm like, oh, man, my career, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I can retire. I imagine some time in my life where I'm, like, no longer a wrestler and I work in insurance sales or something and I want to kill myself every day. And, like, I'll have some house. And, like, that'll be, like, hanging up in the bathroom. And I'm just picturing, like, my friend that's not really my friend that I met at work, but he comes over. And he's going to go into the bathroom and just, like, thanks, Matt, Hulk Hogan. Like, I just want that part of my life.
Was this while you're while you're hanging there? He's gonna come see this. It's a very morbid picture.
I'm still alive and I'm dead inside, and he's gonna be like, and I'll be like, yeah, for like nearly 20 years, I wore little underpants.
If you. If you, for the viewers at home, that was our waiter, Tommy Dreamer.
He looked eerily familiar.
Oh, sorry.
The innovator of
pizza drop-off.
Yeah.
I've never seen him actually give away food.
That was a cute little moment. Oh, the people at home were like, why have they stopped and are cheering Matt Cross killing himself, working at a 9-to-5 job and having a Hulk Hogan autograph? My favorite part of that story, by the way, was like, he was so cool. He said to Matt, thanks, brother. Like, you were the only one he's ever said that to. To me.
You realize you took all happiness away from him, and now he's going to kill himself.
Oh, no.
Mine was a special brother.
It was underlined like 4 times.
I had the balls to go up there and get the autograph. Some of the other guys were like, oh, okay, it's cool then, right? So then the other guys start coming to do it. All of those guys, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan. No thanks, brother. So can't take that away from me.
Nailed it. All right, and then one more thing. So on that tour, because we did a podcast, we did our second podcast that you can listen to, but we never got into the idea that you were a gladiator. Spartan 3000?
Oh, yeah.
Is that why you have those swords?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he sells these foam swords that you didn't bring on tour.
No, but I definitely have them. Please buy them. The minimum order was so astronomically high that I will be buried with these things.
With the Hulk Hogan program.
I'll be comfy.
So you did that on the Hulk Hogan tour? Were you the Spartan 3000?
Yes.
And what is this? And why aren't you it now? And why were you it? And why everything? Why?
There was a company called NWE in Spain. They were doing shows, but they wanted to. It was on Spanish television, and then they wanted to market it towards children. So they're like, we love Matt Cross, we love what you do, we want to use you on these, but we need sort of a kid-friendly character. And they're like, we want you to be a lumberjack. And I was like, that's probably the worst idea ever.
Then they're like, we want you to be a leprechaun. You're like, even worse.
Had a real shitty movie made of me because of that.
And I could be wrong, but I feel like the concept of a lumberjack is like a bit of Americana. Like, is that a worldwide, like, everyone knows what it is. But
You guys got lumberjacks over here? That's a negative. Good call. Good call.
So, like, these Spanish people, it's not even going to translate. What am I going to do? Come to the ring with, like, some pancakes and, like, an axe? And, like, I was like, that's awful. So I'm like, let me think of something. And they had mentioned, we're thinking lumberjack because you have this beard. At that time, it's like 2007, I also had a giant beard. So I go back to my hotel room. I love the movie 300, so I was like, instead of being some lame lumberjack, why don't I be like a sweet dude Spartan? So I went to them and was like, and the movie was like out at that time as well. So I was like, Spartan? And then they gave me the fantastically original name of Spartan 3000.
Is that because you were 100 times better than the movie?
Good math.
You impressed with that math thing?
Not from a Jew, though.
Either that or I was like an unsung member of Outkast or something. I don't know.
Pretty good. Great. Well, and then you were like, once that's done, I'm going back to being me.
Well, actually, and this ties into this tour, on the last day, which I believe was Sydney, I wore this kind of like man skirt gladiator thing, and I would take it off in the middle of the match or whenever it happened to fall off. And after the show, we're trying to find this thing, and everyone's searching the building. Luckily, it was the last show, so it wasn't that big of an issue. And I went home without it, and I'm like, man, my outfit, like, obviously we have to pay for those things, so I'm like, bummer. Fast forward, this is 2009. On this tour, so 8 years later, we did an autograph signing in Perth or somewhere, and some kid comes up to me with the freaking outfit, and he's like, can you sign this? And I'm like, well, this is a really awkward moment, because, like, am I supposed to take $20 and sign it, or am I supposed to kick the shit out of him? And I had, like, that, like, it wasn't, I was, like, looking at him, and I'm like, again, I don't, like, I'm just, like, it's like the devil and angel in my head. I'm like, what do I do?
Kick the shit out of the little shit out of
So Matt got arrested, and a child doesn't have his loincloth anymore.
After I beat the shit out of this guy, no. So I signed it.
Oh, boo.
I figured he's had it for the past 8 years. It'd be so weird if he's all excited. He has this like piece of unique memorabilia, and he's coming 8 years later to get it signed. If I was like, no, give it back. So I let him keep it. He's got the only signed one in the world. So if that pops up at eBay, then I'm going to hunt him down.
Then you're going to kill him.
Then you're going to bid for it. Great. Matt, where are you at on the internet?
/MDog Matt Cross. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And please check out wrestlingisforever.com.
Wonderful. Matt Cross, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Matt. All right. So listen, we got to get to the bottom of this you versus an eagle match. And I've got just the person to do it.
Oh, here we go.
Please welcome to the stage, Jack Swagger.
Can't call him that. Donald? Jake Hager. That's Jake Hager.
Please welcome Jake Swagger. Jake Swagger.
Oh, look at you. Looking like a... Looking like a 15-year-old emo skateboarder over here. All skinny leg swagger, they call him.
They call me Shins, motherfucker.
Shins motherfucker would be a great wrestling name.
So I'm Shins motherfucker from Loud City, Oklahoma. And me and Swoggle here have a matchup coming up. Yeah, death match.
You do?
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
I'll go back to the Eagle.
Hold on. I didn't know that was something that I desperately want to see. But you and Hornswoggle in a death match.
I ain't bumping, kid.
It's not me. It's Shins motherfucker.
Oh, sorry. Shins motherfucker.
Versus Swoggle here.
And if we have any fans out there listening,
Oh, look at this.
I would love some fan art of Shins motherfucker, the wrestler from Loud City, Oklahoma.
So true story. They used to, when I was growing up in high school, I'm very skinny and I have legs of a thoroughbred, but they're also very feminine. So they call me Shins because I have no calf muscles whatsoever.
Really?
So
Look at him, really.
And then when I was wrestling some guy in high school, I knocked him out. He tried to roll, and I hit him with my shin, and then it was all set. And he got knocked out. I pinned him, and then the match was over. And then they said, "Are you okay?"
To him or you?
To him.
Was he okay?
He was knocked out.
From the shins?
From the shins.
Motherfucker. Dude, have you ever seen those karate videos where someone like kicks somebody and they like crack their leg?
Oh yeah, like bend.
Oh,
yeah.
I saw the other one day, and then like they bend, and then the guy just like hit him from the back and like went back in place. That was just for me to talk out loud. Sorry.
Ninja.
Yeah.
I'm hot. Take my jacket off.
Yeah, baby. Wait, so you're a collegiate wrestler?
It's a lot of noise from a group of men.
there's also an 8-year-old child here.
She was hoo-hawing Jack?
Yeah.
She doesn't like anything right now.
Yeah, she doesn't seem very amused.
Hey, child. How are you?
Jack,
Sweet.
what would you do when you saw like kids at the WWE shows? Did you have like tricks that you would do to amuse children? Does that make sense? Wait, no. Hey, like, listen. Example: when I come out, I usually like pick up a kid and and this is my go-to.
Like 2 fingers?
No. 2 fingers, motherfucker. Your brother.
I like that one.
2 fingers and shins going around the table. I don't know, because like WWE, it's wrestling, but it's also like for kids, kind of, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's that's the market that they want to aim to. I didn't really have any tricks. It's more like eye contact and just the way that we would wrestle.
Hold on.
Whoa.
Give it a shot.
Your trick with children to entertain
No,
them
don't put this on him.
was eye contact. You made eye contact to please children.
That was my dumb question. Don't put it.
It was his dumber answer. Hey, child.
Oh, she's legit scared.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't like me.
One of these days, you'll figure it out and get over it.
Yeah, if you only knew the eye contact trick, bro.
Yeah. If I only really intimidated children with.
All right, tell me the story. I don't remember the story with this guy, and because he said Chavo was your bald eagle, swagger eagle.
Swagger soaring eagle.
Swagger soaring eagle.
Yep.
To be exact.
Yeah, was this? Give me. I don't remember. Please tell me what happened.
Okay, so thank you, Chavo Guerrero, and everything that you've done in the wrestling business. I was very grateful. It was one of those things that. But it was one of those things that just kind of came about, and like at first, Chavo was not very happy about it, and he was like, "Is this all you have for me?" type deal. And then it just kind of took off for a little bit.
Wait, he was your eagle?
Yeah, he put on the costume every night.
Why did you have an eagle?
He needed a mascot. He needed to get over. You deserve that one, eye contact.
My eye contact wasn't working well enough, I guess. You know what? I really don't remember how it started about like, hey, let's have a mascot type deal. All I know is that we had Heath Slater do the mascot one night, and he was fucking horrible. He just stood there like this. And then, like, if you look at Chavo was just all over the place and doing it. And like, he wasn't happy about it. Funny story is, one night we were having a gin tournament on a European tour. And
Sorry, what kind of tournament?
A gin.
Cards.
Oh, gin rummy?
Yeah, gin rummy. And we were in Turkey on last night. And it was me and Chavo in the finals. And the bet was, if Chavo won, that I had to dress up as the eagle and come out for his match and, you know, do something. And then if I won, then Chavo had to come down to the bar that night after the show and stay in gimmick the whole time.
I'm so curious.
Thank you.
Who? You're the big gin player here.
Yeah, I got lucky and I won, and it was just almost like even more like, hey, Chavo, I'm sorry, brother. I beat you in cards, and now you have to dress up like this.
This legend of professional wrestling.
This coming from the family, yeah.
And so what happened? He came to the bar as the...
He came down to the bar dressed up as the eagle, like a great sport that he is.
And met his wife that night.
Yeah, she's a
rooster.
She's a peacock.
Yeah.
She's a peacock. Turkish peacock.
I love that then, like, all of a sudden, weirdly, like, Terry Taylor just comes out of the back. As
the cougar in the
rooster.
other half.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Dr. Tom Pritchard starts rolling the joint, and then we're off and rolling.
And it was. Wait, what?
Don't know. I'm not sure where that came from.
And his okay. So welcome to this world. How you find the independence?
Wait. So I've been very fortunate.
At Gin Rummy, we know.
Yes. So this is all very new to me, but at the same time, I'm loving it. I have a new love for wrestling all over again, away from the company that we all hate, but at the same time, we all watch. You know, so it's been really cool, man. I really dig it. I've been wrestling some form since I was 5 years old, so to be here and to be able to provide for my family, you know, forget about it, dude. It's fucking awesome.
So, like when we were in developmental together, kind of early in your whole thing.
Very early.
Yeah.
I was green as goose shit.
Yeah. And you were probably like all these guys were coming from the indies, and I was a guy, and so like you know maybe I talked to you about like independent stuff and how it worked, but like now you're finally getting like what's the weirdest thing that you found about the independent scene, or something that stuck out was like whoa, this is way different.
I mean, the weirdest thing by far for me is the ropes. Like every show, the ropes are different, and they're sometimes loose as fuck, and I'm like, should we do that? But other than that, dude, like I'm low key. I'm low maintenance.
No, low key is low key.
Oh,
You're
yep,
Jack
yep.
Swagger. Low key is Caval. You're Jack Swagger.
Who?
Caval?
Oh.
Jake Swagger?
Yeah. So far so good. But I've only been in a month. Talk to me in 2 months.
Right. All right. Talk to you in a year. Great. Cool. And then we're going to do a regular podcast, which besides you being on the stage, which should be fun.
You guys never got to do one, did you?
No, we're now that he's back. Now he's on the Indies.
Well, I've been told I'm not the best at talking. So like, let's do this podcast and let's prove him wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
You're great at eye contact. I'll tell you that. It's. All right. Jake/Jack, where you at on the internet, bud?
Real Jack Swagger on Twitter, Instagram, fuck Facebook. Fuck Facebook in the face.
Oh, I thought you said you were on fuck Facebook.
I was looking forward to that app.
And then we got a new app coming out. It's called Tall Guys Looking for Midgets.
I could hook you.
Not looking forward to that one.
And then my one of the silver linings of me leaving the company is I started my own merchandise company. Hopefully we can branch that off into my wife's fashion line that she wants. But right now you get all the Jack Swagger merchandise at lfrlife.com, which we were kind of like, should we tell them what LFR means and then keep it a secret? But LFR means let's fucking rage.
Damn.
Live that life, you know? So lfrlife.com. You know?
Awesome.
That's what I do.
Formerly known as Jack Swagger, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to stay up here. That's fun.
Okay, you sure can.
Yeah.
You want to take the end seat or you want to stay there? Well, we're going to bring our next guest. Our next guest will sit there. You know what? Fuck it. Who am I to talk? He looked at me with those eyes, and I was like, I am a child in your hands. Oh. Yay, Jack.
All right, I'm leaving now.
No, we were going to have you. Come hang out. Let's bring out our last guest. He is responsible for us being here, and I'm very excited. He is I don't want to say it. Well, he'll talk about if he's the owner of House of Hardcore. I don't really know. Tommy Dreamer, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the man with the pizza box. That was amazing, and you didn't laugh at that. Oh, thanks. Here, you got to turn that on. That was such a good joke by me.
I thought it was awesome. I laughed inside. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here for COLT'S podcast, live podcast, right here on the place where podcasts are played.
Great to have you, Tommy.
It's lovely to be here. My second time on your podcast. First time here in Australia on your podcast. Pretty cool.
Now, anybody here who's a super fan of this show, can they correct his statement there? Nobody likes my show. This is the third time on your podcast.
Did he do another group one?
He did one in San Jose, California.
Did he make eye
That must have been. That's why it was unmemorable.
Is that a WrestleCon?
Was that like a WrestleCon?
It was a WrestleCon.
No, that doesn't count.
Doesn't count,
That
guys.
does not
That's
count.
sorry for the
When it was
historians.
one-on-one that we did.
Correct.
That totally counts.
All right. Well, thanks for tell us the gruelingness, if that's not a word, that goes into putting something like this together.
Actually, this tour has been pretty easy, thanks to Lord Zoltan, Zoran Timic. He was he's the one who helped put this all together. I have less problems here than I do in the States, and besides the travel and some, I don't want to say miscommunications, but, or to get MVP and all of us visas to come into the country, but that's more on the government than it is on, actual wrestling side. But it's been flowing pretty easily as you've been here for the whole tour, and we've been having a great time. I actually, for the first time ever, have been able to sightsee, and I saw penguins. The Walk of the Penguins on the island, that beautiful island that you guys have. We went to the petting zoo. We pet kangaroos. I walked into a cage with the dingoes. The lady said, "Tommy, you want to come in the cage with the dingoes?" I said, "Sure." And
Who was this lady? Is that your mother?
No, the lady at the
Tommy,
park.
you want to come into the cage with the dingoes?
You don't know how to play with your carrot?
So I walked in. Unlike zoos in America, this park, if you all know, what was the name of the park? Do you remember?
Ballarat. Wow.
Ballarat Park. It's awesome. You all should go there. Everyone listening to the podcast, you should all go in.
And that's an independently sourced wildlife place here in the Melbourne area. I guess it's Ballarat.
Yes.
And so we promote them, and we hope for people to
Because it's an amazing experience. It really, really is. I went the first time, and I never experienced a kangaroo or animals not in their cages, so that was really, really cool.
And you were in ECW.
Yes. And but then we had the koala experience, which was really awesome. And then I went into a cage with about 8 dingoes, and I really realized that there is a big difference between your domesticated dog, and even though they are tamer dogs, but they were trying to get my attention. I'm petting 2. Another one comes up and hits me from behind, and they could have totally had 300-pound meal of Tommy Dreamer if they wanted to. I would feed him Dylan. That would be 400-pound meal.
That's Hornswoggle for those of you.
Sorry, Hornswoggle. I'm not drinking.
So you called
I am.
one of the promoters, the promoter who's really helped put this together, like you said, Zoran. You've been calling, and you can give him a round of applause for Zoran. You call him Zoltan, and then you call him Lord Zoltan. And this is a wrestling podcast, an independent wrestling podcast. There was a wrestler from the Pittsburgh area in the early 90s named Lord Zoltan. And I feel I'm the only one that gets this reference when you say it.
No, I got it too.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
yes.
There's 2 people.
I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. But we were talking today, about...
I'll just hold it.
Thank you. About some of these wild wrestlers from the independents, and Lord Zoltan was definitely one of them. But today you mentioned in the early 90s, I think, a guy named Jake the Fake, right?
Yes. Side note story, we're having this conversation. Today we went to the falls. There's a fall about an hour and a half. Then you got to walk down a whole bunch of steps to see the falls. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? All right. It's awesome. You should all go there too. What is the name of it?
It's Mr. Skin.
No.
Eskinma.
Our Skin.
Brazzers.
Askins. And then you got to walk all the way up, and then we went to, what was the guy's name? Jeffrey's Lookout?
Thomas Jeffrey?
No. Somebody's Lookout, and it was really, really cool. So he's telling the story. We're having this conversation looking this awesome view where they ended the movie of Point Break. And we're having this great conversation about independent wrestling where everyone is looking at this breathtaking view, and we're talking about obscure independent wrestling references. There was a wrestler, we were talking about being afraid of heights. I used to be afraid of heights, so then I booked my famous scaffold match. And,
Swagger, what are you doing?
I'm listening to Tommy's story.
You're taking phone calls.
That wasn't my phone that rang.
Oh, wasn't?
I turned my cellular data off.
Oh,
nice.
Who took a phone call?
I'm pretty cheap.
Zoltan. Oh, no.
So how I cured my fear of heights, because Tommy Dreamer's not afraid of anything, so I put myself on a scaffold match. That's a whole other story. So then I used to be afraid of snakes, and then there was an independent wrestler named Jake the Fake. There was an independent wrestler named Jake the Fake who was a fake Jake the Snake, and he would have a snake. He had a cool mullet like Jake, and he would...
A cool mullet?
Back then it was cool.
My daughter has a mullet. She's very cool.
Yeah.
And it was, that's how he used to go around, and he would... Back in the early 90s, there was a slew of, in the States, fake wrestlers like Jake the Fake. There was a big Slam Vader. There was a Gold Dust it was separate words, but so with 2 Ds. There was a lot of Ultimate Warriors because there was also the rumor that the Ultimate Warrior had died. So there was a lot of, no, he was the original Ultimate Warrior. There was a million Doinks, a million Patriots.
There's a million Doink Man, a million.
So it's 2017. Were there any Tommy streamers?
No, I don't know why anyone would want to fake be me.
Well, you were a fake somebody, right?
No.
Tommy Dreamer was kind of a weird takeoff of somebody, wasn't it? Or was it not?
No.
Yep, just
It's
made
the
that
other
up.
Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how we were talking about. I cured my fear from snakes from Jake the Fake, and I put his snake on my neck, and I had the head, and I was like, take the picture. He takes the picture. I'm like, get this thing off of my head now. It was a giant, like, anaconda thing, and then we got rid of it.
All right.
I'm still afraid of snakes, though. I don't want to say afraid of them. I don't like them, and you guys have snakes that could definitely mess me up.
When his fear of snakes and spiders and scorpions and bugs and everything proved in mini golf of all things yesterday.
Oh.
When he wouldn't get his ball out of the hole because he saw it moving, he said.
There was a black spider we went to a campground and we were all playing mini golf. He won, by the way, which you would think Hornswoggle would win in mini golf.
Right.
But
I had a whole set of clubs.
And as we're reaching into the hole, I'm being a little trepidatious. And as I reach in, a black spider ran across that hole. And I was like, I'm not going in. And then they dare Tommy Dreamer. So I was like, all right. And I grabbed out 3 balls. That's the reason why there were so many balls in there, because there were spiders living in there.
But before that cool time where you're like, I went in and grabbed 3 balls. Like as a person who grew
I want to grab them.
as a person who grew up on ECW, there was something a little I don't want to say sad about watching one of my heroes, Tommy Dreamer, reach into a ball thing and go, ah!
I totally did that. I jumped like a woman. I was like, ah! No, there's really something in there.
And I was like, that's the innovator of violence.
The first show here we did in Brisbane, we had the show, and then we had the bathrooms and the showers like across the street. And I'm over there warming up, and Tommy comes over there. He's like, "I'm not gonna have a snake bite me through the ass in a toilet." And
There was outdoor toilets, yes. So I was afraid. I'm checking under the toilets. I've heard stories about snakes getting people when they go to the bathroom.
And so I didn't know if you were messing with me because I really had to go to the bathroom or if you were being serious.
Absolutely. I study my stuff. In New York, we're just people kill you. Here in Australia, you have spiders. I could fight a person. I can't be pooping, and all of a sudden I get bit or a spider lands.
Or mini golfing.
There was this bathroom had the old school chain from above. It was outside. It was outside of the arena, and like there was dirt where the things were.
There's an absolute possibility that.
And I'm afraid I'm going to pull the chain, and then I don't want that to happen.
You get that big log out, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's my private time. That is my private time.
Well,
Starfish.
the scariest animal in Australia.
Starfish.
Yes. Maybe that went over a couple of people's heads. I'm not sure. So, Tommy, we're in this new era of, like, independent wrestling's pretty wild. So much so that, you know, the company that you used to work for has now, like, changed its motto and hired all of these guys because they realize those are the guys that kind of become stars. And like there's these things, you know, I don't know, the thing people crying about the dives and just whatever it might be, but there's these cliches that we know about independent wrestling in 2017. But I want to know I want to know what it was in like when were you starting?
1989 was my first match. I had 2 matches in 89, so I got to wrestle. I get to say I wrestled in the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, 2017s. I probably might retire in 2020, so I could just say I wrestled in all those generations.
He's not going to retire in 2020.
So tell me like the cliches of like the 80s and early 90s of independent wrestling.
Besides having sweet mullets, there was a lot of baby oil. There was no T-shirts. There was no T-shirts.
Nobody sold T-shirts?
Nope. You did not do that. I remember the motto of if you were an independent wrestler who didn't have a name. I remember like when Rick Rude walked into a locker room or like even Honky Tonk Man, you didn't really make eye contact with a lot of these guys. You were kind of just like kept your head. If they said something to you, you would, you know, say, hello, my name is, or it would be like, oh, go get me this. I don't want to say it was borderline bullying. I remember seeing one guy get smacked in his face because he went and said hello to a guy, as opposed to now when everyone says hello to you. Everybody pretty much they would do either the yay boo spot on the indies, and also a bad indie was about 600 to 800 people.
That's amazing.
That was like, and there was also, you'd wrestle Thursday, Friday, Saturday, tons of Sunday shows.
Really?
Thursday nights were big, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday day shows were the only time it got when the NFL was on. That was the only time they were, but they were always crowded. And it was a lot of, there was only usually 6 matches and a lot of like lock up, headlock, tackle, drop down, you know, hip toss, arm drag. Everyone did that, or the heel would body slam you, the heel would arm drag you, the heel would hip toss you, and then he'd curse at the crowd and then turn around. Then the babyface would do the same 3 moves that the heel just did to you. And then you'd clap your hands and fire up.
What were like the hated, so like you said, like now it's the hated things is there's too many dives or guys going too long. What were the hated things about independence then? Anything?
Oh, and there was always a lot of 10 punches. That was the 10 punches were still there. They're still there. I love the 10 punches.
So now we do these crazy suicidal dives that people hate. In the early 90s, I can't believe that fucker's doing 10 punches. Risking his life out there and killing the business.
Yep. No, there was no, I guess, you know, it's funny. Me and Taz had the same match where back then, and he would always give me, fighting to the floor was not really.
It was frowned upon?
A little bit, unless you were in the main event. And top rope stuff, like superplexes. But me and Taz, when we first started, we kind of had the same match, and we would do, like, he would superplex me, belly to belly me off the top. A few times he'd belly to back me, you know, and I would sometimes either flip on my stomach or just land on my head. And that was, everyone was like, You know, even in ECW, a lot of the old timers, like to me, were like, "You're going to be in a wheelchair by the time you're 28," and I was just like, "Okay, you know, that's all right." But ECW Dreamer was a lot different than independent, young, handsome Tommy Dreamer.
And you're still walking.
I'm still. That's what I when I hit 38, I tweeted that. I said, 10 years ago today, they told me I would have been in a wheelchair for 10 years. You know, and it's all good. It's just that was their era. And, you know, Mick Foley would get that too. But even, you know, you look at wrestling, the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express, you know, there would be some guys who'd be like, just slow down. You don't need to go out there and do that. You don't need to work that hard. But yet that's why everyone still remembers the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express. And when you were talking about like ... dive, when everyone was on social media about that, and I put up a picture of Terry Funk doing a dive into the crowd in ECW, and I was like, I was, you know, with the headline like, oh, this out of shape old vet doing a dive into in front of about 800 people, but you know, to me, that's just, I call that work ethic and, you know, giving all that you have for the match, no matter where you are. And yes, if you're in front of 100 people, I don't suspect you to do a crazy dive. But, you know, if there's a lot of people and it's a bigger show, now with social media,
every show can be a big show, right?
YouTube channels, you never know what you have. And just go out there balls to the wall, because this is all of our dreams. And some guys can make it, some guys will not. But you never know what could go viral. Well, you know, mess ups are awesome when guys like crash and burn. I watch them all the time on.
Oh, wait.
I saw that one luchador.
Wait, what do you think about the revival?
This is the wrong show. Wrong show. Hold on. I'm going to bring up one of your mess ups.
Okay. But I watched a lucha guy do a dive in like somewhere in Mexico, and he not only missed him, he went head first into it was like a wooden barricade.
Yes.
And went into the barricade and stuck. He was like... And I was like, that's awesome.
Well,
because it wasn't me.
Well, we're going to end this podcast with the story of I was told, in this video that I watch sometimes on this show that I do in Edinburgh with Brendan Burns, that's happening at the Fringe right now. There was Raven. You guys were at a gym, and you were in the bleachers, and then there was a rope there, and Raven swung and did a drop kick, and then he was like, Tommy.
Can I tell it? Yeah, let me tell it.
Tommy, now you go.
So me and Raven really did have a bit of a real feud when he came back to ECW, and we're fighting in the crowd, and I see up in the high school bleachers, there's a giant rope that's connected to the wall. We're on the top of the bleachers. So I, in my head, say, I'm going to be like the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm going to take this, go all the way down the bleachers, and I'm going to land on Jack Victory and Steve Corino. That was how this was planning on in my head. So I climb up, here I go, and Raven comes and steals it from me. Raven goes...
FTR, fuck the Raven.
He goes all the way down the bleachers and lets go and does a really crappy like armpit dive on top of everyone. Place is going crazy. ECW. Now I'm milking it because I'm looking around. I'm going to do, because there's another rope right next to it. So I take the rope. I'm ready to go. And I go here. And as I let go, it was a short rope, and I seriously went to here and then just started going like this. And spinning in a circle on the top of the bleachers. Yeah, it's horrible, but it was awesome.
It was, and still lives on today because of YouTube.
Absolutely.
And social media. Tommy, where you at on the internet, buddy?
The Tommy Dreamer on Twitter, The Tommy Dreamer on Instagram, The Tommy Dreamer on Facebook. My only Facebook post. There are a lot of fake Tommy Dreamers that a lot of people get duped on, and a lot of my fake Tommy Dreamer accounts on Facebook have more followers than the real Tommy Dreamer. So it's The Tommy Dreamer on everything.
All right, Tommy Dreamer, ladies and gentlemen. All right. You guys are excused.
Anybody else coming out, or we're good?
I was-
No, we're good then.
Yeah, I think that's on you. All right.
I brought you pizza.
I know. I'm going to eat this directly after the show.
All right.
That is the show for this week. Huge thank you, first of all, to you guys for coming out here. Let me thank my sidekick, Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle, where are you at on the internet?
At WWE Hornswoggle on Twitter and Instagram.
What is it again?
At WWE Hornswoggle.
You may.
Why does he get to stay out here the whole time, though?
Why is he what?
Why does he get to stay out here the whole time?
He feels bad for me,
Yeah.
essentially.
He's like a good little sidekick, I thought. Yeah.
You had your own talk show. What did you want to have?
All right. Let's think House of Hardcore. Let's think Zoran. How about Tommy Dreamer, Jack Swagger, Matt Cross, Bull James. I am going to go back to my apartment right now, and I'm going to tell you a bunch of plugs and
Upcoming events.
all right, the best way that you can support ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com, Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook /AOW Podcast /Colt Cabana, my storytelling podcast, Pro Wrestling Fringe, plus past archives of this show that are ad-free, StitcherPremium.com /Colt. Use the code COLT, get a free month. ColtWrestling@gmail.com, my very public email. Maybe you want to send me something. Maybe you're a promoter, want to put me on your upcoming show or convention. I got a YouTube channel. I also got a website, ColtCabana.com. That's where I got a P.O. box. You can send me something. I'm still at the Fringe every single night, 10:20 p.m. at the Monkey Barrel. Book your tickets, edfringe.com. Friday, August 25th, Kilmarnock, Scotland, bcw-wrestling.com. Saturday, August 26th, Dundee, Scotland, sweonline.co.uk. Sunday, August 27th, Glasgow, Scotland. 5:30, we're doing the podcast. 7 o'clock is the show, insanewrestling.co.uk. Thursday, August 31st, Berwyn, Illinois, aawrestling.com. Thursday, September 7th, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Facebook /First Wrestling. Friday, September 8th, Boise, Idaho. Marty DeRosa and I are doing some comedy. 208comedyfest.com. Saturday, September 9th, Rahway, New Jersey, WrestleProOnline.com. Sunday, September 10th, New York City, NowHearThisFest.com. Use the code COLT, get $10 off that Sunday. Friday, September 15th, Cleveland, Ohio, AIWrestling.com. Saturday, September 16th, Marietta, Ohio, RemixMain.weebly.com. I do want to thank some sponsors. HighSpots.com. Hundreds of full-length titles available to download. A VOD service that's pretty great. Watch some PWGs there. $5 wrestling. AMA knee pad, gear, mask, wrestling rings. OneHourTees.com. They bring ProWrestlingCrate.com. They bring ProWrestlingTees.com. And TweakedAudio.com /Colt earbuds that I use. Get over 30% off of free shipping just because you listen to this show. I'm going to send it right back to Australia where we will wrap this up. And we're back. You guys nailed that upcoming events thing live, by the way. Nailed it. All right. Hey, that is the show for this week. This has been The Art of Wrestling for Colt Cabana. I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks.
Zoran, where are you? Lord Zoltan. He's not coming out.
Can I get a...